Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, I will show you how to crochet the Violet Clouds Throw. This is a very easy blanket to make. It's lofty and thick and warm, but it's also, because of the yarn I use, it's also a very kind of lightweight blanket, hence the cloud name that I gave it, because it's light and warm at the same time. And it's just a simple hexagon shape, and I used a 2-color sequence. The yarn I used for this project is Lion Brand's homespun thick and quick yarn, and I used about 4 skeins of that. My blanket is a smaller throw size, about 60 inches across. It's more of like a lap blanket, or a lapgan as some people like to call it. And the purple I used is called the Barrington colorway, and this kind of like shimmery champagne off-white color is called the Pearls colorway. And I just did alternating colors for mine. For this project, you'll also need a 10mm P crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a tapestry needle. So let's get started with our blanket. So to begin, I want to talk to you a little bit about the particular color sequence I did. All of the rounds from here out are just one row of off-white, one row of purple, one row of off-white, and so forth. However, for the first 2 rounds, I did the first 2 rounds in purple. This was just a choice of mine. Obviously, you can do yours in any color, any order you like. But I did the first 2 rounds of purple because I wanted a nice solid center. So let's get our blanket out of the way here. And we're going to begin with the purple, just like we did for our finished blanket. And we'll keep this handy to refer back to it if we need to. So let's get our purple. And we're going to just pull a little bit out. Homespun yarn is very lofty and chunky. And what I like to do when I'm working with homespun is to just take the end and give it a fresh cut. See how it has like a thread that's twisted around it, and the ends kind of will fray. So what I like to do is just give it a nice fresh cut. See, one of those threads just fell. And then you can save that in your scrap pile, and then just tie a tiny little knot at the end. And that'll just keep it from fraying anymore. And then when you're finished and you're weaving your ends in, you can just trim that knot off. Okay, so that's what I like to do. So to begin, we're going to take our P crochet hook. We're going to put a slip knot on our yarn. To make a slip knot, wrap the yarn around your fingers and make a loop. Bring the yarn behind the loop, go in with your crochet hook, bring up the loop, and tighten. So again, we're making rounds 1 and 2 in the purple. So we're going to make a ring by chaining 4. To make a chain, wrap yarn around hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, then in the farthest chain from the hook, sometimes with the thicker yarns, you may have to feel around for your stitches a little bit. That's okay, that's normal. Sometimes they're chunky and jumbled, and you have to just kind of feel in. But the chain farthest from your hook, we're going to work a slip stitch, insert your hook, bring up a loop, then bring that loop through the loop that's already on your hook. And now we have our ring. I wanted to mention also because this is a stripe sequence, to weave in the ends as you go along. It'll save you a lot of time and trouble at the end. So I'll show you how to do that as well. We have our first end here, and we're going to hold it along the edge as we work our first round. That will weave in the ends as we go along. So to begin round 1, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This will count as our first double crochet. Next, we're going to work a double crochet into the center of the ring. To make a double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert the hook into the center of the ring, bring up a loop. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. Next, we'll work a chain 1, and we're going to do this for a total of 11 times. Again, I'm holding my end along the edge there. So we're going to do this for a total of 11 times. Double crochet, chain 1, so that makes 2. Double crochet, chain 1, 3. 4. Pull some more yarn out of our skein here. With these chunkier yarns, you'll go through the yarn really fast. So 1, 2, 3, 4, plus our starting chain. 5. 6. And I like to push them back a little bit as I go. There we go. 7. 8. 9. Get some more yarn. 10. And 11. Okay, so we're going to have a total. We just made 11 double crochet, chain 1, plus our starting chain. So that's going to give us a total of 12 wheel spokes on our circle here. So next we're going to, in the starting chain where we began, we're going to take our hook and join to close with a slip stitch. Just like that. Now you have your, if you flip your piece over, you have the end, and as you can see, the end is woven in. Just give that a tug. I like to trim as I go. You can save all your trimming for the end. So it's just totally up to you. Personal preference. Some people just like to deal with all that at the end. I like to do it as I go along so I don't have strands hanging down. So that is round 1. Okay, let's move on to round 2. To work round 2, if you're going to be switching colors, you can simply cut the yarn, tie on the new yarn in one of these chain 1 spaces. The chain 1 space is simply this hole that we created by chaining 1 in between the double crochets, makes the hole. If you're going to stick with the same color, if we go back to the finished piece, this is round 1 here, and then this is round 2. I did purple for round 2 and then switched to the cream color. So if you want to stay with the same color, what you're going to do, we need to get to one of the chain 1 spaces. You're just going to work a slip stitch to the first chain 1 space, and here we are right there. And then we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. And pull a little more yarn out. Then we're going to work a double crochet in the same space. Just like that. Then we're going to chain 1, and then the next chain 1 space, we're going to work 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Chain 1. In the next space, 2 double crochets. 1 and 2, and chain 1. We're going to be doing this all the way around. Next space, 2 double crochets, 1, 2, and a chain 1. Next space, 2 double crochets, chain 1. Next space, 2 double crochets, chain 1. So we're going to do this for the remainder of the round, 2 double crochets and a chain 1 in each space, and we'll rejoin in just a moment. So we've completed round 2 by working 2 double crochets and a chain 1 in each of the spaces. To close the round, you're going to work a slip stitch, and your round will be complete. So in the finished piece, our next round, round 3, is worked in the pearls colorway. So what we're going to do is we're going to break the yarn or cut it. We're going to switch to the next color. So just fasten off and then locate. So now we have groups of 2 double crochets. This yarn is very fluffy, so you might have to look for them a little bit. So you can see all these little groups. What we're going to do is simply tie this yarn into one of these spaces in between these groups. So we're going to tie it right here in the center. Okay, so just tie it right on there. And again, we have an end, and we'll be weaving that in as we go. And I'll show you how we do that, similar to the way we did it earlier. So we're just going to tie that on, just like that. We'll hold this end, and we'll hold this end along the edge, so that way it'll weave it in as we go. So for round 3, we're going to reach in with our crochet hook, bring up a loop with the new color, and then chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, just pull a little yarn. Then in the same space, we're going to work 2 double crochets. Again, we're holding these ends. So we're going to, in the same space, we're going to work 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Just like that. So it'll look like one of these here. Okay. Next, chain 1. And in the next, again, we're holding the ends. In the next space, we're going to work 3 double crochets because this chain 4 at the beginning counts as one of the double crochets. So you have a total of 3 there, like that. So in the next space, we're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So it's going to look kind of like that. Chain 1, and then do the same thing in the next space. You guys just have to look for them a little bit in between the groups of 2 right there. So work 3 double crochets in that space as well. 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 1. We're going to do the same thing, work 3 double crochets, chain 1 in each of these spaces all the way around. So the entire round will look like this. So we'll rejoin in just a moment. So we're coming up to the end of round 3, and we've worked 3 double crochets and a chain 1 in between each of these groups from the previous round. So now what we're going to do is just join with a slip stitch again to close the round, and it'll look kind of like that. And then just, again, we're going to switch to another color. If you want to stay with the same color, just slip stitch to the next chain 1 space. Then just fasten off here. So we're going to go back to the purple for round 4. Now this round is particularly exciting because so far we have a circle. And we're trying to achieve a hexagon shape. So this is the round in which the circle becomes a hexagon. So go ahead and between one of these groupings, this chain 1 space, go ahead and tie the purple yarn on, just like we did in the previous round. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. And I wanted to mention, so this is the tail from the last round. This is the one we just tied on. I've been, again, weaving and trimming as I go along. Okay, so then we're going to take our purple, and again, we're going to weave in as we go and bring up a loop, and then we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if we go back to our finished blanket here, this purple round here is the round we're doing now. So we'll push this one out of the way. So in the first space, we're going to work, this counts as a double crochet again. We're going to work 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Then in the same space, we're going to do a chain 1 and then 3 double crochets, all in the same space. So 1, 2, and 3. So now we have what I will be referring to as a corner. We're going to have corners and sides, and that's going to give us that hexagon shape. Okay? So now let's work a side. We're going to chain 1, and in the next space we'll work 3, grab my yarn tail here to weave it in. There we go. We're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So that'll be one of the hexagon sides. Then we'll chain 1. Then we're going to work another corner. So we'll pull some more yarn out. So in the next space, we're going to work 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. That will make our corner. So 1, 2, and 3, chain 1. Same space, 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So now we have our next corner. So as you can see, our circle is starting to get points on it. So we're going to keep doing that all the way around by working a corner, then a side, then a corner, then a side, all the way around the entire circle. So we're coming up to the end of the round, and we're just working the last side, 3 double crochets. Chain 1. Okay, so now we're going to close the round with a slip stitch like we've been doing. And I trimmed my ends also. So now you can see we have a hexagon shape. We have sides and corners. So our shape is becoming more defined. So let's move on to round 5, which is the final round of our pattern. But obviously, to make your blanket, you'll keep going by repeating round 5. So let's grab our other color. And we're just going to tie it into one of the corners here. So locate a corner. I like to go one before the end, just so as I come around I can weave in the end, but it's totally up to you. So take your other color. We're going to just tie it on like we've been doing. Just like that. Get our end ready to go. And then we'll just bring up a loop and then chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what we're going to do now is, it's very similar to the previous round, but we're going to work every time you see a corner, you're going to work a corner above it. In between these sides, you'll work a side. So we're going to do corner, side, side, corner. Before we did corner, side, corner. So each round you do, you'll be adding an extra side. And I'll show you in just a moment the finished blanket, what I'm talking about. So let's start by working a corner. So this counts as a double crochet. So we're going to work 2 double crochets. Make sure my end is in place. There we go. Okay, so we're going to work 2 double crochets. 1 and 2, chain 1, and then 3 double crochets. And that will give us our first corner of round 5. So 1, 2, and 3. So see how our corners are now becoming stacked. Okay? So in the next space, we're going to chain 1, and then in the next space, again holding our ends, we're going to work a side. Again, the sides are just 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. On to the next side. We haven't reached a corner yet, so we're going to work one more side. 1, 2, grab some more yarn, and 3, chain 1, and then we just straighten that out. We have our ends here, lots of ends with stripes. Okay, so we've come up to another corner. In between there at the corner, we're going to work a corner right on top of that. So 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, get my ends there, 1, 2, and 3. So you'll just keep doing that in the same manner. Work a corner. You get my hook out of the way. So you can see it's starting to grow very quickly. So we're just going to keep going in the same manner. Corner, side, side, corner, side, side. Okay? So let's go back to our finished blanket. You're just going to keep repeating round 5 of the pattern until the blanket is as large as you want it to be. Now let's go back to our finished blanket for a moment. Here's our finished blanket. So if we look at the construction, we did round 1, round 2, round 3, and round 4 together. and we began row 5. So as you can see, the hexagon builds outward. So as you keep going, if we were to continue, we would have corner, side, 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 corner. The next round, corner, corner, side, 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 side. So each round adds an extra side, and that's what builds the hexagon outward and helps it grow. So you just want to continue in the pattern with round 5, and the link to the written pattern will be found at the information at the bottom of this video when you watch it. And the written pattern indicates that you just repeat round 5 until the blanket is as large as you want it to be. Again, mine was 60 inches. I wanted just a small lapkin. You can make this as big as you want it to be. You can make it a king size bedspread if you like. And for the size I did, I used just about 4 skeins of yarn for mine. And this yarn comes in a lot of colors. It's also machine washable. And I wanted to mention, this particular lapkin size makes a great charity project for nursing homes or hospice. They're always looking for cozy handmade things. Definitely call first if you are donating to charity to see what their particular specifications are for their charity programs. But I've made a few of these in the past, and they're wonderful things to make for charity. And it is, again, machine washable. So that's how you make the Violet Clouds throw. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the red subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again.